My name's Jason Eldridge. I originally started painting as a kid. My first set of paints was from a paint by numbers. Got rid of the actual grid and painted on the heaviest paper I could find, and since then I've loved painting in oil paint. Some people have said that they can't paint or they can't draw, but I think that everybody starts off before we learn actually how the written language. We all start off drawing first, and for myself, that was always the language that I felt most comfortable expressing myself in. It's actually something that while I paint, it's a combination of both physicality of painting, moving the paint around a canvas, the fluidness of that, but then also the mental energy, the focus, and pretty much everything else. It's one of the few things that I do that everything else kind of just goes away, and I can just focus on my painting. I don't feel self-conscious when I'm out painting in plein air. I do feel self-aware, and it's just a great place to be. But yes, I pretty much work in oils, and the reason is they don't dry very quick. I love the luminosity of the colors. Also, sometimes when you do the studio work, being able to actually layer colors up, there's an intensity of color that I can't get through acrylic. And also just that ability to be able to move the paint around on the canvas. You have a much longer opportunity to do that in oil paint. So that's why I use mostly oils. I like plein air painting. In fact, if there's any time that I feel like I don't have much inspiration, I can pretty much go to any location, start painting on location, and stories start developing. I think that's why sometimes there's a narrative quality to my work. But the stories develop. I'm able to sort of build off of that, and then I'll take those smaller plein air sketches and a lot of times go back in the studio and start making larger compositions. And in those larger compositions, I try to bring in a lot of the different elements of one place. And I think that started as sort of an idea about what makes a place a place. And a lot of times we think about, I was thinking about a place as just a photograph or a snapshot, but then I thought about places that I really loved and that were important to me, and it was much, much more than just a snapshot. It was a number of things that happened there. It was things that happened over time, and in some locations there were things that were important to me, other things that really didn't make the story or didn't make the memory. So those are kind of things that I'm trying to sort of present almost memories of places and stories. When you go out and plein air paint, one of the biggest problems is that light's always changing, things are always moving around you, and so some of it to me was, well, okay, that's could be a liability, but let's make that into an asset, and let's just try to capture all that movement. And in that way, you do have to sacrifice some of the composition or change things around. Several of them are actually plein air sketches from Falmouth. So down by the water a lot of times is where I'll end up going. There's a couple from Boston here. This one's from Boston, outside of a bookstore. That's partially an outdoor bookstore. And just kind of people watching there. Those were from a bunch of different sketches that were put together of that location. I love the fluid nature of things. That's why in a lot of my paintings, there's not a lot of straight lines. It's all organic lines. I think that helps capture movement, but also painting it's a fluid medium. It's something I enjoy, is just that being able to push and pull the paint around the canvas and create fluid movement. And so I enjoy painting that way as a technique, but I also incorporate that into my compositions as well. That once again, that fluid nature of things.